Olá a todos! Bem-vindos! Welcome back! Have you already taken a look at my website? There you can find more information about one-on-one lessons and online group classes. You can always follow me on Instagram for new daily updated free tips on how to improve your Portuguese. And now let's get started with today's video. It's going to be a very important one because it's going to be on the top 5 mistakes that Portuguese learners make when they are learning European Portuguese. As I'm sure you've noticed, I said European Portuguese, and this is important to stress because it's connected to one of the most common mistakes. It's the fact that students use words from Portuguese from Brazil. And this happens because when you use tools like Google Translator or when you search something online, even when I'm searching something for classes, I always find answers in Portuguese from Brazil because they have a larger population than in Portugal, so everything that you find online is in Brazilian, in Portuguese from Brazil, instead of in Portuguese from Portugal, European Portuguese. So these are usually helpful tools because, of course, like 95% of the words are the same. But there are that bottom 5% of words that are not the same. So, for example, when students say ruim, buscar, realizar, ou café da manhã, for example, these are words that people use in Brazil that we don't use in Portugal. So instead of ruim, we would say mau. Instead of buscar, we would say procurar ou pesquisar. Instead of realizar, we would say aperceber-se. And instead of café da manhã, we would say pequeno almoço. Let's move on to the second most common mistake. This is the difference between the verb ser e estar, which in English is the verb to be. I've already made a video about this, so you can click on this button to find out more information, but I will summarize what I've explained in that video. So bottom line, ser is used with things that are always true, and estar is used with things that are temporary. So to say like my name or my nationality, I will use the verb ser. Eu sou a Tatiana. My name will always be Tatiana, will never change. Or eu sou de Portugal. I'm from Portugal. It doesn't matter if I live in the States, in England, in Australia, I'm always going to be from Portugal. Eu sou de Portugal. But if I'm talking about something that is true right now and it's not true all the time, I'll use the verb estar. For example, eu estou em Almada. I'm in Almada. Right now, I'm in Almada. So we use the verb estar in this occasion. Moving on to the third most common mistake. This is related with prepositions. That's when we use a, em, ou para. So this in the context of a place, of where we're going or where we're at. So every time we want to say where we are or where we were, we have to use the preposition em. For example, eu estou em casa. I'm at home. Or eu estou na rua. I'm in the street. Here we couple em plus a because street, rua is a feminine noun. So we use a. But if I want to say where I'm going, I'll have to use another preposition. So with the verb ir, to go, I use different prepositions. I can say eu vou para casa. I'm going home. This, if I use para after ir, means that I'm going home for a long period of time. Or, eu vou para o trabalho. I'm going to work. Again, I use para because I'm going to work for a long period of time. I'm going to be there for like 8 hours. I'm not going to be there for 1 hour only. But if I'm going to somewhere for a short period of time, I have to change the preposition. So I'll use the preposition a. For example, eu vou ao cinema. I'm going to the movies because I'm going to be there for 2-3 hours max. So I'm not going to be there for a long period of time. Or eu vou às compras. I'm going shopping. I'm not going to shopping for the entire day. I hope. I hate doing that. But I'm going there for a short period of time. That is why I use the preposition a. Okay? Moving on to the fourth most common mistake. It's the difference between the pretérito perfeito and the pretérito imperfeito. So pretérito is just a fancy word to say past. This is two of the most common verbs that we use when we are talking about past experiences. So let's start with, for example, pretérito perfeito. This is what in English people call past simple. So whenever I did something in the past, I did it only once and it's already done, I finished it, I used pretérito perfeito. For example, eu estive na escola. I was at school. I was at school yesterday or today morning and I already finished school, I already came back home. Eu estive na escola. Or, eu almocei peixe ontem. I ate fish for lunch yesterday. You did it yesterday one time and you already finished it. It's over. Or we also use pretérito perfeito every time that we mention the period of time we did something. So, eu vivi na Rússia durante 20 anos. I lived in Russia for 20 years. If we mention the period of time that an action lasted, we have to use pretérito perfeito, if we're talking about the past, of course. Pretérito imperfeito is used for all of the other things. We use it when we talk about hours in the past. For example, ontem, quando acordei, eram 8 horas. So here, eram. This is the verb ser in pretérito imperfeito. When I woke up yesterday, it was 8 o'clock. We also used it to talk about age in the past. Quando tinha 10 anos, jogava muita bola. When I was 10, I would play football a lot. So again, this is your age in the past. So you need to use the verb ter, tinha, in pretérito imperfeito. We also use it to talk about habits that we have for a long period of time in the past. So this sentence that I just said, quando tinha 10 anos, jogava muita bola. And we also use this to talk about something that lasted for a longer period of time. So if I want to say, for example, enquanto eu estudei, a Maria punha a mesa. So while I was studying, Maria was setting the table. So this means that I studied for a shorter period of time and Maria set the table for a longer period of time than the one that I was studying. This is why I use pretérito imperfeito here. And let's move on to the fifth most common mistake. This is when people don't use the articles before possessive determiners. So remember, in Portuguese, in European Portuguese, we always say de my brother, de my sister, de my dog, de my cell phone. We never use just my. I mean, sometimes we use, but this is the rule. De my dog, de my cat, de my cell phone. So, o meu telemóvel, my cell phone. O meu gato, my cat. A minha mãe, my mother. So if I want to say, for example, my mother is a teacher, I would say, a minha mãe é professora. Here I have to put an A before the determiner my, and this is mandatory here. There are a couple of exceptions when we don't have to use this de before the my, your, his, her, their, ours. This is when we use these words as pronouns. For example, if I want to say the pen is mine, here a pronoun. A caneta é minha. I don't need to use the A. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't use it at all. Or if I'm saying the relation that someone has with me, for example, if I'm introducing someone, este é o João, é meu filho. This is João, he's my son. I can say é meu filho, or I can also say é o meu filho, because I'm establishing what kind of relation is between us. So here I don't need to use the article before the determiner, the possessive determiner. But again, it's not a mistake if I use it. So I always tell my students, if this is a determiner, you use a de before it. But if it's a pronoun, you shouldn't use it. So once again, a minha mãe é professora. My mother is a teacher, but for example, this mother is mine. Esta mãe é minha. That's it for today. I hope you understood. You know the drill. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll try to answer them. Follow me on Instagram for more newly updated tips. And of course, visit my website for more information on Portuguese lessons. É tudo por hoje. Adeus, beijinhos e até à próxima. Tchau!